Hello guys, welcome to another video today. And today we're going to be talking about some few stuffs and some few tips on how to unlock football agent contract. So what is that all about? Let's jump straight into it. But before I go, I'm going to Brian, football license agent, FIFA football license agent. So I'm well qualified to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to handle your contracts or everything related to football due to my background. So how do you unlock football secret contract? That is our topic today, guys. Let's check it out. So as usual, I have links that I have put together and I will be giving you these tips on how to go. So let's roll. Let's see what I've got for you guys. So the first thing we're looking at here is know the agent you are working with. So a lot of players wants to get football contracts. A lot of players get misled, and a lot of players often cry that the agents are bad people. But the first thing I would say here to you footballers are, when you're a footballer and you're seeing that you have potential, and then it's the next step, which is the right step to look for an agent, what do you have to do so that you get the rightful agent for you and let's say your career? Because a good agent brings out your career gradually to the top, and an agent who is not so good may take your career to another direction. Whereas an agent who is so bad may take your career to a different direction. So all this depends on how you calculate it or how you and your family try to do things rightly. As a football player, there's something I have to advise. If let's give an example, if a move come, let's say you're 16 years, let's say you're 16, and then 2 years you want to sign you sign a professional contract. Maybe you're in South America, you move to Europe at 18. You have probably 1 year of adaptation period. Let's say you are in a Real Madrid or whatsoever team. And at the age of 20, we all know Brazilians, they pick very fast. At the age of 20, 21, you're seen already as the next thing. And then Saudi Arabia comes knocking, trying to pay you, let's say, a whooping amount of 250 million euros. And if you see your potential is that you win the Ballon d'Or one day, what are you going to do? This is where a good agent come in. So what a good agent will do is he will advise you that we have a lot of money, and we see if your potential is high, that's why they're bringing this money on the table. But if you think smartly, you can't, the money is huge. I know it's going to change your family situation. It's quite difficult for people not to accept that. But what a top agent does is he realizes the situation, and firstly, he advises you that, okay, let's play at this level for some time, for so long, so that you earn the recognition of being one of the best players in the world. Because if you keep up to your potential, you're even going to earn more than that in future. So a good agent, what he does is he advises you in this moment that maybe you are not thinking well, and he gives you the best advice, you and your family, because an agent is like a mentor to you. You have to remember the agent try to look at you first before the club. If an agent signs with you, because what the agent does is the agent try to represent the player first before the club. You remember, as an agent, he has to sign probably a 1 to 2 years agreement with you, a representative agreement, maximum 2 years, as you all know. Then, which is renewal, which can be renewed after it expires. It expires. Then, before he start looking for you deals to other clubs or to football clubs. So he's almost like a person or a brother or a family member to you. That's how an agent has to be if you have good connections, because the agent has to always look out for his player before the club. That's just normal. So when you have an agent that is smart and guides you, you're going to have a very good career. This is how your career is going to go up. And potentially, you're going to be the best if you are. So I give an example for a player in Europe. We have young players like Lamine Yamal and others coming up. or whether Jamal Musala and all these young players coming up. So if they have a top agent who is managing their careers, what a top agent does is the agent have try to look after their careers. Let's take, for example, he's in Barcelona. Let's give an example. The case of Lamine Yamal is in Barcelona now. So if he plays and his potential is like almost he's going to win the Ballon d'Or one day, if he stays fit. We know how football is. So what his agent will be doing is like managing his career, not to go to Saudi Arabia. If a huge offer, because this kind of play, I had something that Paris Saint Germain came with 250 million or whatsoever. But what the agent of Lamine Yamal, if he's a top agent, what he'll be doing is he looks after his career. He says, okay, this is the first stage we do. You are playing for Barcelona, which is like one of the biggest club, if not the biggest club in the world, with Real Madrid and Man U. So stay here, make yourself like an elite player, one of the best players, like the top three best players in the world. When you make yourself the top three best players in the world, the money you are looking for, whether it's going to come eventually. So this is what a top agent can do. But if you go after money at an early stage and forget about your career, you are going to maybe play 1 or 2 years and have that money, but your career is going to start going down. So my advice to players is a top agent knows how to manage your career to take you to the highest level. That's why at the beginning of this video, I said an agent is someone that can take your career up or or he can take your career down. So that's the first thing. And most things I hear this question, most players have been asking me this online, but I would like to address this here. No agent should be able to sign a 3 years contract with you. According to FIFA rules and regulation, an agent is to sign a 2 years contract maximum with a player, which can be renewed based on your communication with the agent if things are going well. So it's a maximum of 2 years representative agreement, which cannot be terminated, but can also be terminated due to certain things. That's the clauses in that contract. So there's nothing like an agent signs a 5 years contract with a player. It doesn't work. Which means you're not working with a real agent, because a real agent knows the rules and regulation that if you are signing a contract with a player, it is a 2 years contract maximum. So these are according to rules, FIFA rules and regulation, which govern. So if an agent tries to sign a 3 years or whatsoever contract with you, then he is looking for trouble, because he knows that his license might be in jeopardy. He might get a fine from FIFA, or he might be warned. So because that is like misleading the constitution. So we look at the next thing. So I said, look out for an agent, because the agent has to be one who can take your career up or down. Then the next thing is understanding an agent's right or your right. That is a big thing. So an agent, what is the rule of an agent? First, an agent have specific rules. They look for trials for you. They can have sponsorship deals, that they can negotiate sponsorship deals or endorsement deals. But these sponsorship deals and endorsement deals are other services. These are what we call in football. This is not actually the primary target of an agent. Primary work of an agent is to look for you trials for football clubs or sign contracts with football clubs for you. But when we talk of endorsement or sponsorship deals, these are what we call other services in football regulation. So if an agent is representing you, this is also another part that we can say, can he represent you in other services? They call it other services, but it is not the primary target of an agent. So it's good you have a little bit of basics of this, right? And also know your right, that you as a player, you can decide when to go and when not to go. It's always good to have that right. So that's why I say an agent for you has to be like, excuse me, a brother or a father figure or whatsoever, that you look at him, that you can share these things together, because this is your career. So the next thing I would like to talk of, it's just a moment. The next thing I would like to talk of is sign-on fee. So what is the definition of sign-on fee? Sign-on fee is a one-time payment made to a player by a club upon a signing new contract. So let's take, for example, there are a lot of players that have this agreement with a club that, okay, let's take, for example, you're going for free. I give an example in the case of Kylian Mbappe. He went to Real Madrid for free. So his sign-on fee might be very huge. So players who are like free agents, when they are having sign-on fee or signing with other clubs, signing with their new clubs, they have a sign-on fee which might be huge. But we often don't hear this because these are not really publicly said. But these are also made. These are also contract terms that they make. That's why you see most players they try to go as free agent because they know their next contract might be a very huge paycheck. So I'm not saying that you as a player you want to go you go to your football club, you try to go for free. But what I'm just trying to say is that it's good you know all these contractual terms that you try to that can try to guide you so that you make the right decision for yourself. And the next thing I'll be talking is performance bonuses. So I think this is very clear. Performance bonuses. Performance bonuses are when a player has this contractual terms in his or her contract that, let's give an example. If you score 20 goals a season, you're going to have this amount of salary raise. If you do this, if you have this amount of appearances, but mostly it's always based on appearance a lot also. If you have this amount of appearance, you're going to you're going to hit this milestone and we're going to pay you this. So that is also what we call performance bonuses. So, and also just a little bit of information I want to give you. So most of the players, I also had this information being asked on my Instagram that there was this player complaining about an agent that he spoke to an agent and the agent was saying his commissioning that he wants to look for a club for him, and his commissioning is going to be 10%. Yeah, that's sad. Okay, so if you're a player watching this, so this I'm going to give you now this clean and clear. So when you sign a contract for an agent, when you sign a contract with an agent, his commissioning is 3% of your salary. 3%. For an individual, is 3%. When an agent is representing an individual, you have to know that his commissioning is 3%. So put this down. Any agent who tells you that he wants to make a percentage with you, 10% or whatsoever percent. No, when an agent is representing you, an individual is 3%. So I hope you guys got this clear. So that's one thing you need to take care of. I know many people don't know these basic things, but these are the things that you have to, let's say, find a little bit of time to just check it out. It's going to help you. And also, when signing a contract, another thing, check the length of the contract. It's always good when you sign a contract, you go through the contract, look at everything, and see what is in the paper before signing it. Because a lot of times you might be excited for the money you have seen on the paper, and then you sign something that you don't know. A lot of players have fallen victims of this. So be careful whatever you sign. And also, we talk of lastly the release clause. The release clause is also a contractor term put into your contract that whenever you sign whenever a club signs you, you can go. So let's take for example, you're playing and you're playing at your best, and let's say you're scoring goals, you're assisting, you're doing whatsoever, and then the club discovered that the market value of this player was 50 million euros. We have to put a release clause so that so that he doesn't go for cheap, and the club comes up that okay, we're putting a 100 million, 100 million a release clause on your head. And let's take for example, Paris Saint-Germain, for example, or whatever club comes and pay that release clause. So the player leaves automatically because the release clause has been paid by the opposition club. So that's the use of it. That's what a release clause means. That if you put a release clause on a player and another club pays that money, the player is gone. So these are just few basics contract things that you need to know, and how to manipulate the world of agent or football, the world of football, because it's quite tricky if you don't know. But if you know them, then these are going to help you in a lot of things. So guys, this was the few tips I had to give you today, and I wanted to give you this guide so that you can gain some little bit of knowledge about how football agent contractual terms work. So going forward from this, we're going to, of course, give you a lot of tips on different parts of football contract or whatsoever, or what is third party, what's the influence of third party on football. Third party is like where we're going to talk about that into detail. So I won't go now into it, but we're going to talk about a lot of things that involves agent, football, the general game, the business side of it, and all these things. We're going to be putting it down for you guys to understand it. So that's it. Any question, you can always leave a question. Whatever time you watch this video, I'm going to comment on it. As I say, see you every Monday to Friday, at 10 p.m. Eastern European time. Thanks. Catch you. Bye.